Okay, great. And we're in the slot.
Okay.
Miss Candyland.
Miss Candy.
Miss Candy.
So I started off dancing.
Strip clubs.
Yeah. And when I started that, it was from a place of survival mode. I'd just broken up with my ex-girlfriend. I needed money fast. I was actually living in a hostel for 2 weeks. And I was like, I need money now. And I'd entertained the idea of stripping before.
Never done anything like that prior.
I was working in Long Island City as an administrative assistant.
Closer.
Do you know where the school that's been turned into a museum is?
In the city?
In Long Island City?
No.
It's like PS something.
PS1?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
So I worked across the street. And I worked there during the time where they thought Amazon was coming to Long Island City.
Oh, right.
So it was just seeing the possibilities of things, working in real estate and noticing like architecture, art. I was already very creative in doing other things, but the transitions of COVID, shutting down my business, I was like, well, fuck, what am I going to do? So I walked into a strip club in probably about $20 pair of undies and some regular heels. I didn't even know that they were specifically dancer heels that I had to wear.
Pleasers.
Yeah. And
which club was this?
what was
it
called?
Scandals?
No, this is in Brooklyn and it's actually closed now. Amore Cabaret.
Okay.
Right on Nostrand. And for some reason the house mom hired me. I guess she saw the need in my eyes and was like, okay. And I made $300 that night, somehow, some way. And my family laughs now because it was like, they used to say I had no rhythm. But I guess,
really?
Yeah, I guess they learned they learned not to doubt me. I've been a sexual being and comfortable with my sexuality, I want to say, for a while, but my father's side of the family is Jehovah's Witness. My mother's always been the type of person, I'm going to love you no matter what. I actually joked about becoming a stripper my sophomore year of college, and then I finished my bachelor's in 3 years instead of 4. So in that year of me crunching everything, I had lost time to figure myself out, really, at, again, a pivotal shift in time. So when I broke out of the relationship, when I moved into dancing, it was just so much that I was downloading at once, but also trying to survive, that I don't think I really gave myself the time to process it all.
Sure.
So it's like just being able to embrace all elements of my sexuality and my personality and figure out who I really am is why I'm making the transition from, I'm not going to stop dancing. I'll still do bookings. I'm still going to be around the environment, but I want to take a step back from giving it my all so I could figure out who I am now. Now that I'm not in survival mode, I'm still kind of there because it's not like I got...
Yeah, but the thing is, even if you get out of it, like financially or resource-wise, you still carry the stress and the traumas with
if you don't take the time to process them.
Yeah, you have to, and also sometimes people, when they get, when they start to get a little something for themselves, and they also get afraid they're not going to be able to maintain it. The thing is, the problem is when you're working in survival mode, because I've been in this position too, it's like you're making survival mode decisions and this for survival mode plans, and you're always thinking very short term and very like, how can I get it now? And you get to the point where you get confused about where you actually are in all of that, because you're proud of yourself that you're making it happen and making it work, but you're still in that stress position, and like you don't have the luxury to imagine beyond it.
Doing all these different things for 4 years, content creation and porn, I'd say for now about a year, and just officially and authentically being like, fuck it, let's try it. I want to say maybe 6-7 months. Well, since February, actually, because that's when I threw my first Candyland event. Like, coming from a business background and feeling like I need to monetize things and I need to be making money, I think that's the real scary shit for me, because I understand what it's like to have it and lose it. And I don't want to feel that feeling again, especially now that I'm building so many different things and I'm developing this credibility, and I'm the same way I did that with the first lane. And I'm like, again, like, I don't want to do it the wrong way. So I'm retiring from teaching pole classes in person. I'll do them virtually, but I don't want to give my time and my energy, because right now I can't, not only can I not make it financially worth it, but emotionally worth it. Because part of your job as an instructor is to motivate a lot of the girls, because I'm a for dancers by dancers. A lot of my girls come in after shifts of work, and they come in with all their insecurities and things that they haven't solved. They come in with a bunch of different questions, and it's like, it's not like I can just be like a fitness instructor and say, hey, 1 step, 2 step, 3 step, and that's it. And if you don't get it and you fall behind, oh well. It's kind of my job. One of my girls call me their pole mom. It's kind of my job to nurture them. But I feel like after so many years of doing it and doing the energetic and financial break even, it doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. And maybe if I take this time with myself, who knows what project I might put out that might get me my own studio. And I'm also retiring from dancing in clubs. I've watched porn stars get paid thousands of dollars to come on stage and just say hello and maybe suck a fake dildo, and do nothing. And I am doing aerial work. I'm putting my life in danger to flip off the roof, and I'm putting sparklers on my shoes. I'm giving you talent, performance. I'm engaging with the audience. And I'll never forget, I was working at Tampa at this club, and I had worked a full shift, and one person tipped me $8. And I still have to pay for my drinks while I'm there, transportation, I have to pay the club. And I just feel like it's an environment where unless you know yourself well enough to make it make sense. I'm like, I need to take a break from environments that don't serve me, especially when they're so taxing. Alcoholism is like a given. And I feel like it's a miracle if you meet a dancer that doesn't drink till she's wobbly. Just being touched and like not wanting to be touched, perhaps, or not wanting to deal with all these different personalities in one fucking shift, and not knowing or even having the time to like dump that and cultivate your personal relationships because you're so fucking drained from that. It's just all of it was taxing. And I feel like for so many people to be able to identify, like, I'm becoming irritable, I'm not the same person that they knew, a part of me was like, well, I'm a new person. Like, you should be able to accept this and love this. But the spiritual person in me was like, no, you need to figure out what in you, like, what is this monster in you that's been curated?
I feel like, like I've had to let go of things too. All my ways of working have not served me, and I kept doing it and doing it and doing it and doing it, and the money got less and less and less. The amount of work didn't get any easier, and nothing new was showing up. There was nothing. I was like ready. It's like, I'm telling you, I'm God, whatever you got for me, like, as soon as it's here, I'm all in. I've got the work ethic, I got the commitment, but I don't know, I have nothing to put that energy on. And it's just, and then months and months are going by, and like I'm going further and further into debt, and I'm like, I'm like standing in the middle of these two. I'm floating over a hole in the ground. Like, the place I used to stand is gone. The place I'm gonna be standing, I'm not there yet, and I'm somehow just like suspended in the air in between of them. How am I even up here? Like, and like I don't know if I'm moving or not, but I'm not dead. Like, I kept going every month. I kept going over the cliff. The worst thing that could possibly happen, I'm going to not pay my rent. And then I go over the cliff, and then I didn't die. Go over the cliff again, it was like, this has to be the end, this has to be the end. And then it wasn't the end, and I was still fucking assed out, or like not knowing where to go. And all I've been doing is then just like reading, like, I was like, and part of me just wants to go back and do the old thing again. Maybe I'll make a few bucks just one more time, and I can't let myself do that, and if I do that, then all the faith that I've put into something more happening, I'm kind of undermining that. But by like going back to the old shit that I can't stand doing, that I don't want to do anymore, is basically invalidating all the belief that I've put forth. It's basically saying, I don't trust this. My vision is still coming. My new self is still developing, and I just have to spend every moment of my mental energy cultivating that and believing it and shaping it and letting it come into focus. And like, you have to get comfortable floating in space like that, you know, and not knowing and being okay there. Just, you know, before you fill yourself up with all kinds of other activities and people, you know, I think you have to be okay being totally empty. Until all of that is handled, you're really never going to get anywhere in the world, because I truly believe that, like, who you are inside and what vibration you're on and where you are energetically, you know, the things that are for you when you're in that space are kind of there. They're easy. They sort of show up. They're present, and then you know what to do. But if you're not there, no matter what you're doing in the world itself, the world of moving things and people and effort, none of it will matter. What's your like turnover rate with like friends and collaborators and stuff like that? Like, do people come and go? Do you have like trusted people around you? Are you still looking for a new tribe? Are there people you need to let go of that you're not, or how does it work for you?
So I've gotten comfortable with letting people go, honestly, after my godmother, who was like the one person who anything I wanted to do, she wanted it for me. I can't say that I'm attached to anybody that I feel like needs to go. I trust that, you know, one door opens, another closes. And I think for the most part, I'm also not hard to please. So I make room for people who do the least, until they don't do or deliver on
even that
on what they were supposed to do, something as simple as what they said they would do.
And then you have to get to that place where there's some trust to let go. And how do you do that, especially if you've like don't trust yourself necessarily 100% to pick the right people because you've made bad choices in the past? And how do you get to the other side of that, you know, where you know you have made the mistake enough times to not do it again? You know,
I think also seeing the world shift and see shit get really dark is like, well, if we're on our way out and I'm over here trying to live the Western way instead of living the candy way, and this shit ends tomorrow, am I going to be happy with myself? Is my spirit going to be settled? Or am I going to be put right back fucking here because I didn't learn what I was supposed to learn? So,
what's the answer to that?
I think I'm not going to fucking find out. I'm not going to find out the what if. I'm going to do me authentically. I'm going to be scared. I'm going to look for and find people and discern those who are not the kind of people that I can share things with or that I can talk to, and know that every step of the way that guidance is getting me closer to where I ultimately need to be. And even
at the end of the day, the only thing that really truly exists is you and what's going on inside your head, and everything out here, as far as you're concerned, is just a fucking movie that's playing.
Yes.
You know, as far as you can tell.
Yes.
You can't verify that I'm even a real person.
Yeah.
You know, you'll never be able to know that.
Yeah.
And you know, so then once you get comfortable with that, then a lot of other things seem possible. You know, whatever the thing you're most afraid of, giving all your fucking daily energy and thought to it makes it into something when it's really just a shadow. And if you're gonna have to think about that shit, something like, for me, like I have trouble turning my head off sometimes. When I'm laying in bed, there's just my own voice going to my head saying this, that, the other thing. I can't make it shut off, but I can decide what it says. Think about how good I got it. You know, I'm going to sit here and count my blessings, even if I don't believe it, you know, even if I'm saying all these things to myself about how good it is and what, you know, wanting my good and what I'm so grateful for, even if it feels like a lie. It's better to say that shit and not mean it than say something destructive and mean it.
Yeah.
You know, and it's like, I think that just that is like a daily practice, you know, you are what you think all day. I mean, I don't really know. I'm sure there are people that do sex work that really has an emphasis on healing. I'm sure that exists.
Well, that was actually my niche. When I started, I was the spiritual stripper. And a lot of my dancing was like tantric. A lot of my intention was more about making people feel safe and seen, and not feeling like they had to conceal their sexuality.
I think the only way human beings are gonna fix it is to fucking suck their way out of it.
Yeah, I agree. I think that was a great way to end it.
Yeah. Okay. Great. Thank you.
Suck your way out.